Welcome to our program called The Work of the UN and of SDGs Around the World, hosted by Greater Lansing United Nations Association. My name is Lynn Bartley, and I am a board member of the Greater Lansing UNA. But I'd like to begin today's program with some thank yous. First, I would like to thank our 6 Humphrey Fellow presenters. Also, the East Lansing Public Library for sharing this space with us, and to Hakan Yildiz and Tahsin Sardar for taking care of our tech tonight, and to the Humphrey Fellowship Program at MSU with whom we partner. And thanks to all of you for joining us. The Humphrey Fellowship Program was started by President Jimmy Carter to honor Hubert H. Humphrey. Approximately 140 mid-career professionals are hosted each year by several universities in the United States. This connects us with leaders from around the world and serves to help address some of the world's most prominent challenges, from climate change to poverty to protecting human rights. MSU is fortunate to have 12 fellows in this year's program. Tonight, 6 of those fellows will briefly tell about either the UN agencies or the work of Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, in their countries. In 2015, the member states of the UN determined the Sustainable Development Goals, and I should say the member states, including people from every life and every type of organization. These are also called the global goals. There are 17 goals with 169 target areas for all of us to work toward making a more equitable, healthy world to hopefully be reached by 2030. So we're halfway through that time period, the allotted 15 years. As you hear about the SDGs being addressed in our presenters, communities, and countries, think about how we are or must address SDGs here as well. And we must activate our government, schools, and individuals to take part in this work. And in fact, at the end of the program, we'll offer an action opportunity for you to do that tonight. There are several agencies that support the UN mission. Mission is to build and maintain international peace and security via international cooperation. Those 15 of them are called specialized agencies, which have their own secretariats. Examples are Universal Postal Union. In fact, we had a fellow last year who worked with that union, and World Meteorological Organization. 15 others are called UN member organs that report directly to the UN General Assembly. Examples are UN Women and UNICEF. At least one of these agencies will be discussed in some detail tonight, as well as several SDGs. Thank you again for coming. Restrooms are through that back door. And I am about to introduce our 6 speakers who will then present in that same order. After each speaker, we will invite a few questions. After all the presentations, if there is time, we will welcome more questions. At the conclusion, we will adjourn for refreshments and an opportunity for you to chat with our speakers and the other fellows who are present tonight. Tonight's speakers are Marcelo Cojahuazo, Ecuador, Jimmy Dihoku Wayo, Burundi, Alpha Balde, Guinea, Nelly Stephanie Nasir, Malaysia, Raneem Asif, Pakistan, and Pimpaman Guamani, Thailand. All right. To read their full bios, or at least the bios that we have on our website, please go to gluna.org, and you can also go to MSU Humphrey Fellowship profiles, because you will be very amazed and interested in their achievements to date. Marcelo.
a second. Let me pull up your. All right, this is yours, right? And then yes, thank you. Let me make this. Okay.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you, Lee, for your presentation, and also I want to thank the rest of the board of the UN.
Just one more thing. Let me share the screen.
I'm gonna present tonight the work of the UN in my country, Ecuador. My name is Marcelo Collaguaso. I'm an economist and also a Humphrey Fellow. Ecuador is located in South America between Colombia and Peru, just in the equator. And I'm going to begin by sharing some features about my country. We are around 17 million people. We are such diverse that around 14 populations and also 14 nationalities and 18 populations from indigenous background belong to my country. The main language, or the language that the majority of the population speaks, is Spanish, but because of the existence of these nationalities and populations, there are also indigenous languages such as Quechua, Tar, among others. Our GDP is around $117,000 million, which leads to per capita GDP of $9,000, $10,000. Our currency is the dollar. It is because we adopted dollarization after a big financial crisis during the 20th century. So actually this year marks the 24th year of our dollarization. Ecuador also is divided in 24 provinces among 4 regions: the coastal, the Andean, the Amazon, and the Galapagos Archipelago. In order to talk about how SDGs are measured or how the monitoring of the progress is made, we definitely have to talk about the national statistical system in my country. I worked for more than 6 years for the National Institute of Statistics and Census, which is the main institute that orchestrates the activities in this field. It based its work on the recommendations and the standards provided by the Statistics Division of the United Nations, especially by this Quality Assurance Framework Manual for Official Statistics. And the production of the statistics are divided in 4 spectrums: the economic, social demographic, the agricultural and environmental, and finally the geographic. Of course, we perform this by doing field activities, or we also gather information and data from registers, administrative data. Here is the dashboard provided by the Sustainable Development Report in 2023 of my country. We currently, in the ranking of 166 countries, have this total 74. And we can see here the 5 and in your left side of the slide, the 5 SDGs that have more challenges, especially hunger, zero hunger. And in the middle of the slide are represented the 8 SDGs that have some significant challenges still, especially regarding poverty alleviation. And finally, at the right side of the slide, I present the 4 SDGs that are on track, I would say. And that's why I will focus on the 13th one regarding climate action. Ecuador is recognized worldwide as a mega diverse country. It is because of its geographic location. And of course, the diversity is represented by the amount of species of mammals, reptiles, and birds, especially. in the Galapagos Island, in the rainforest, in the Andes region, and also in the coastal side. I want to talk about some advances that my country has performed during the last years in order to fulfill this sustainable development goal regarding climate action. I would say that the latest constitution that was approved in 2008 talk about the importance of nature, the rights of nature. And also, if we go back to the 20th century, mid-20th century, there are like a performance and a gather of endeavors between private sector, public sector, civil society, and also academia that are willing and focus on the protection of especially the Yasuni National Park and the Galapagos Island. This also contributes not only for research, especially in the biological field and other related fields, but also can be seen as a means to achieve other activities that bring an alternative source of income for my country, because we still are super dependent on production. 30% of our exportations represent that area. To end my presentation, I want to talk about the referendum that approved that we keep the oil underground in the national park of Yasuni. And also there are some measurements especially provided by the Universidad Andina Simón Bolívar in my country, and actually published by Carlos Barrera, that is a recognized scientist in my country, that this will bring a reduction of 47% of CO2 emissions in 10 years. And also it will reduce, of course, deforestation and prevent more than 117 million tons of CO2. Sorry, the 47% I was talking about, I wanted to talk about is referring for other gas emissions also. So this is an endeavor that should be more where people should put more support and of course more investment in order to mitigate in some way climate change. Thank you. Yes. Thank you. I would say yes, especially the Galapagos Islands are very known worldwide, but of course we have more chances, more opportunities to take advantage of that with sustainable activities of that field. Welcome.
Could you talk just briefly about the referendum and what that had to do with the national park? What was that about?
Sure. So the question was if the population approves or not to oil exploration in that part, because they have found a huge reserve of oil there, and actually they don't win, so won. So still we are protecting that, and if some government or political power or enterprise wants to exploit that part of the country, should make some changes in that area legally. Thank you so much.
Let's see. Oh.
Okay. He's just beautiful, but I see it.
Just give me a second.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Gluna, for the opportunity and everyone to attend this event. Okay, my name is Jimmy Diokogayo. I'm from Burundi. Burundi is located in East Africa, close to Rwanda, Tanzania, and Democratic Republic of Congo. I'm going to share with you tonight the work of the United Nations and Sustainable Development Goal in Burundi. The United Nations played a crucial role in supporting Burundi in achieving Sustainable Development Goals. As you know, the UN has been helping different countries. So Burundi is one of the countries being supported by the United Nations. And I would prefer that we start with a smile because sometimes during the presentation we are so serious, but it's really good to smile. So those are the kids, some of the kids that my organization is supporting. So I've mixed with pictures of our beneficiaries because I'm leading a non-profit organization there, and we are focusing on children's education, youth empowerment, and women empowerment. So that's why even I'm here as a Humphrey Fellow from Burundi. So though we wish UN could do more in Burundi, these are some of the ways UN is making a positive impact in my country. In Burundi, the UN focuses on several key areas to promote sustainable development goals and improve the well-being of people. These areas include poverty reduction. Of course, the UN intervened by supporting initiatives that promote inclusive economic growth, job creation, access to basic services such as education, healthcare, and clean water. There's also health and nutrition. Here, I would love to tell you that one copy book and a pen can change the story of a community. So this is one of the things that we are doing. We are trying to equip children with school materials and contributing in the access, giving access to quality education for children. Education, of course, the UN works to enhance access to quality education for all in Burundi. So through UNICEF, and I've been partnering with UNICEF and other UN agencies because education is the key. If we want to develop and change the world, we need to start by education. Also, UN intervene in the gender equality, where it supports effort to eliminate gender-based violence, promote women's participation in decision-making processes, and ensure also equal access to education, healthcare, and economic opportunities. Peace and security, of course, in Africa, in the Great Lakes region, we've been facing repetitive wars, civil wars, conflict, and so on. So the UN plays a crucial role in promoting peace, stability, and conflict resolution in Burundi. So it has been supporting peace-building efforts, facilitating dialogue among different stakeholders. And also the UN is also assisting Burundi in addressing environment challenges, as we have the second deepest lake worldwide, Tanganyika Lake. Sometimes we are facing climate change challenge, including flooding, erosion, and so on. So the UN with other within or throughout UN agencies, it's trying to address those issues by supporting the government and non-profit organization, civil organization, and communities. Of course, investing in the youth brings economic prosperity, social development, political stability, innovation, and contribute to the SDGs. Burundi has a young population. We have over 12 million, and 65 of the population are young people, and the UN is supporting initiatives that enhance youth participation in the decision-making processes, and also provide skills, training, and create employment opportunities. Of course, human rights and social justice, because within, let me say, here UN is trying to promote and protect human rights in Burundi, but I can tell you that with the story of repetitive wars, conflict, and so on, this has been a huge challenge. But throughout its agencies, different organizations, UN have been supporting the country in addressing those problems relating to human rights and social justice. So the UN and its agencies works closely with the Burundian government, civil society organizations, and other development partners to implement programs and projects aligned with the SDGs. But here, I cannot live here without sharing with you some criticism. Of course, there is the limited impact. So my thought today is that the UN staff could also focus on the impact and not a career. Because as you know, the position of UN, most of UN staff, they are just there to keep their career, not the impact, because they collaborate with the government, and when the government is not happy, you understand that the problem, they will risk it, they cannot risk their job. So there is also inadequate conflict resolution. And here I was trying to say that we should focus on the root causes to change. So, and also funding and resource contract, this has been one of the challenges or criticism that maybe we would love that the UN agencies could change. So finishing, if you would like to know more about our work in Burundi, here's the website. And Murakoze means thank you. So here we are. Thank you so much.
How many children are involved in your program?
In my program, we've been able to send to school up to 2,000, but with the partnership of some of American organizations, we are offering free meal to 200 children daily so that they can attend their school. Thank you so much.
Hello everyone, I'm Alpha Balde. I'm a development economist and I have some years of experience in working in field of development. So before joining this Humphrey program, I was appointed as macroeconomist at the UNDP country office in Guinea. Today I'm going to give you situations of SDG in my country, Guinea, and also I'm going to share with you a action taken by my Guinean government to accelerate the achievement of SDG. Let's start by giving some facts about Guinea. Guinea is a small country located in West Africa, as you can see it on the map. In terms of potentiality, Guinea is like most of the West African rivers, including the Niger, which is the biggest one, take their origin in Guinea. Also, the country is known for its mineral resources, particularly bauxite and iron ore. According to the statistic, Guinea is the first country who exports bauxite in the world, and also we possess the world's largest reserve of bauxite in the world. However, despite of this potentiality, the majority of Guinean population is facing poverty and economic vulnerability. In 2019, the poverty rate was about 43.7%, and the inequality is still high. I mean, the HDR, which is the Human Development Index, ranked the country 182 out of 191 countries. The gender inequality also is about 0.8, reflecting the increase of gender equality in my country. Moving on, let's talk about the SDG situation in Guinea. According to the SDGs assessment report from 2016 to 2021, Guinea has been made some progress in implementing SDGs. Like the most remarkable progress has been made in energy access, also in terms of reduction of poverty, SDG 1, and also fighting hunger, which is SDGs 2. As for SDGs 3, 5, and 8, some progress has been made in terms of access, but the problem is the quality of services still remain poor. This highlight the challenges related in development of social sectors. In terms of environment, the progress are not really good. This is because of the impact of our mining industry. Moving on, I'm going to highlight now the challenges related to the implementing of SDGs in my country. As most of the development country, Guinea is facing financing gap to the SDGs. Most of the development countries are facing a yearly investment gap, about 4 trillion in 2023, increasing up from 2.5 trillion. I mean, in other words, when the SDGs were adopted in 2015, the yearly investment gap was about 2.5 trillion. But now, in 2023, the gap of investment is about 4 trillion. This statistic highlights the issues relating on financing gap related to the SDGs. Moving on, to accelerate the achievement of SDGs in Guinea, our government is taking some action. The first one is promoting PPPs. PPPs stand for public-private partnership. The idea behind this is the PPP can bridge the financing gap to finance the SDGs. So the government use PPP project to finance infrastructure which contribute to the SDGs. In the first pictures is our main hospital, which is renovated by PPP agreement. And the second one is hydroelectric dam, which is also being constructed by this kind of instrument called PPP. Actually, we have constructed hydroelectric dam with PPP agreement. That's why the most remarkable achievement in terms of SDGs was with the SDG 7, which is related to energy. The second instrument used by the Guinean government is implementing the INF, which is Integrated National Financing Framework. This is the instrument developed by the UNDP, help the developing country to accelerate the achievement of the SDGs. In other words, INFF seek innovative way to finance the SDGs. These tools are developed and implemented in 4 blocks. The first one is the assessment and diagnostic. The second one is financing strategy. Third one, monitoring and review. And the fourth one is governance and coordination. Beside of these 2 instruments, the Guinean government is also pursuing another action to accelerate the achievement of the SDGs. Those actions are focusing on integrating the private sector. As you may know, in most of the countries, there is not enough public money to finance the SDGs. So the idea is to integrate private sector finance development infrastructure. I'm going to wrap up this presentation by the quote of the UN Regional Coordinator in China. He says in this quote, in order to successfully achieve the Sustainable Development Goal, it's imperative that we harness resources from the wide array of stakeholders. This includes not just government, but also businesses and members of civil society. In his quote, he rightly point out that achieving of SDGs required mobilization of different stakeholders, including government, private sector, and civil society. Thank you. Yep.
For like the first 2015, the social funding for SDG related products. And then there's like before PPP.
You are talking about
Investment funds to government having a specific fund to orient for SDG.
yeah, in my country, Guinea, like the SDGs is mainly related to the infrastructure. For instance, if you build like a hospital, the hospital is going to contribute to achieve the SDGs 3. So most of the infrastructure are built by the based on the government budget. But the problem is in some of the developing countries, most of the time there is no public fund finance all the infrastructure which is going to contribute to achievement to achieve the SDGs. So that's why we are recurring like international aid to finance the SDGs. So
That's a private organization.
can you speak, please?
But
I mean, private organization usually is like the private sector, like businesses, and also when it's terms of PPP, it's usually like in terms of PPPs, most of the time it's like huge funds, or also like the bank. Some bank contribute to make the PPPs. Historically, the private sector did not contribute to build like infrastructure which contribute to the SDGs. Right now, the idea is like to put the private sector more engaged in terms of building or in terms of financing development. Yep.
And you've had a lot of turbulence in your neighbor Mali next door with their continuing struggle between the central government and the Tuareg of the north, 2 military coups by U.S. trained soldiers and their army, and most recently separating from the linkages with France and with the UN peacekeeping forces. Yeah. Has that turbulence in Mali had a very large economic effect on Guinea?
This turbulence in Mali, does not have direct effect in our country in terms of economics, but in terms of security, of course, like the insecurity of Mali is affecting our countries. But in terms of economic, Mali always use our infrastructure, for instance, our port, take their, staff to move Mali. In terms of economics, I might say they are not having influence on us directly. It's most on terms of security rather than economics.
Choose the
Mhm.
PDF.
Maybe you want the PDF?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, great. Mhm.
We don't need a plan B because there is no planet B. This quote from the former Secretary General of United Nations. This was a critical need for us to care for our planet. So there is no alternative for us if we disregard of taking care of our planet and then towards protection of the environment. So good evening, everyone, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Delhi from Malaysia, and tonight, I will bring you with me to explore the commitment of Malaysia towards achieving the Sustainable Development Goals. So, yes.
Okay.
Okay, before I, at the beginning of this session, just now, I was asked by Annette Sharon, I was asked by her, will you show us the map of Malaysia? I said, of course. So here is Malaysia. In the past, many years ago, Malaysia is not that well known as of today. So we take advantage of Thailand and Singapore when we explain to people that they ask us where Malaysia is, and then we will ask them, do you know Thailand and Singapore? And then they said, yes, they do. And then we are in between Thailand and Singapore. So that's how we explain where we are located. We are the Southeast Asian country with 13 states and 3 federal territory. Capital is Kuala Lumpur, but we have this federal government and administrative center of Putrajaya, where most of the government offices located in Putrajaya. A new city 25 years was established 25 years ago. In terms of economy, we have 397 billion US dollars as of third quarter of 2023. We haven't got the recent statistic yet because it will be published by next 36 of GDP. We are upper middle income with manufacturing, agriculture, construction, mining, and services. That is our economic sector. Unemployment rate is 3.3%. Inflation rate is 3%. And then we are constitutional monarchy with a parliamentary system. But we do have a prime minister to lead the government. Geographically, 241 square kilometer. I think a little bit more than Michigan. Yeah. Combination of rainforests, mountains, beaches, and islands. And then just to inform you, we do have about 876 islands and beaches in Malaysia. And then one of the diving spot, I think top 10, we do have Sipadan Island, if you ever heard of that. And we do have, in terms of biodiversity, we do have the biggest flowers in the world. If you ever heard of Rafflesia, you can look it up. Also, Malaysia is one of the biggest palm oil producers in the world. We are number 2 behind Indonesia. Demographic, 33.5 as of third quarter of 2023. And ethnic group, we are multicultural nations. And then we are made of Malay, Chinese, Indian, and also indigenous group. So official language is Malay, but English, Chinese, Tamil are widely spoken. And we do have some languages in East Malaysia too. At the same time, I would like to inform you too, although people referring Malaysia is the Muslim country, but I think we are majority Muslim there, but we still do have Buddhism, Christianity, and Hinduism practicing. Okay. Right. So I move on the SDG, what the commitment or the effort Malaysia has done so far. I would like to introduce you Malaysia Madani. If you translate that into English, it means civil society or civil Malaysia. This one is introduced by the Prime Minister when he took office last year, because he wants to emphasize on good governance, which is transparency, and then also accountability, and then sustainable development means that he wants balanced economic growth and sustainable protection. At the same time, racial harmony means that inclusivity and unity of all the people. And then with this Malaysia Madani, there are 6 core values. You cannot remember probably, but if you, it can be, the acronym will be SCRIPT. SCRIPT, sustainability, care, passion, respect, innovation, prosperity, and trust. So that's how the current Prime Minister wants Malaysia to move forward. It is a way of reform by empowering all the people, the society, to give feedback and then to help Malaysia to advance or propel towards prosperity. So next. Okay, timeline. Malaysia has been committed since 2015, since the UN General Assembly. And then since then, there is a roadmap, 2016, and then 17, there is also a report has been done. And 2024, actually this year, end of this month or next month, there will be a Malaysia SDG Phase 2 that will be launched by the Prime Minister. And 2025, the voluntary national report, and then we hope by 2030 we will achieve the target. Okay, how Malaysia has achieved, what is the achievement has done so far, and how they do it, how they did it. So there is a Malaysia governance for SDG, which it is chaired by Prime Minister, National SDG Council, and a steering committee by Ministry of Economy. And then last year, they formed a National SDG Center, which is the Secretariat for SDG for Malaysia. And these are the framework or organization chart for this National SDG Council. Prime Minister will report to the UN directly, while steering committee will chair at the national level. So some achievement, as of now, these are the achievement that has been revealed. The first one, reduction percentage below the poverty line from 8.4 to 6.2. And then unemployment rate drop. Also, use of internet has increased. Despite the achievement, there are some issues and challenges. For example, issues of awareness. There are still local people who are not aware of SDG because they thought that SDG is only for environment, but it is more than that. And then localization, data, unable to get data, exclusion, some of the minority group, they are not involved in decision making for SDG. And then these are challenges, global challenges. So how we do to achieve towards 2030, next would be the way forward. So It should be number one is people,
Mhm.
prosperity, planet, peace, and partnership. So people will cover SDG 1 to 5. Prosperity will cover seven to 11, and then planet will cover 6, 8, and then until 15. Peace and partnership will cover SDG 16 and 17. So that's all for my presentation. Thank you for your attention.
I'm just wondering, as a, such an island nation with so much diversity, is it challenging to get all groups together to embrace the SDGs?
Before SDG, we have so many programs that can that unite us to do together. But the only problem with SDG for all of us to do together is about awareness, because they don't think that SDG is for everyone. And then they also think that SDG is only for environment, but it should be more than that. It should be beyond GDP, economic, and everything. So this is the issues that they are facing right now, which they are under this National SDG Center. They are trying to increase the effort to let people know and create awareness. And then I think they will unveil these strategies under the 2024 Phase 2 SDG roadmap for Malaysia.
You just have to press this.
Yes, I have 4, arrows, yes. Just give me a second. Good to go.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Ravi Masif from Pakistan. Pakistan is in South Asia, and its neighboring countries are Iran, Afghanistan, India, and China. So I would be focusing upon the Sustainable Development Goals and the agenda for those goals created by Pakistan when Pakistan entered into agreement for following the Sustainable Development Goals. 2016, so that it could be incorporated into the National SDG framework, which was finalized by 2018. And then the process was started for mainstreaming those SDG agenda into the national policies and processes. For that, it was a institutional framework for implementing those SDGs across all ministries and government organizations and departments was created. And Ministry of Planning, Development and Special Initiatives at the federal government, and in the provincial or state governments, provincial planning and development departments started initiating and implementing those processes into their policies so that the Sustainable Development Goals could be achieved in the longer run. The main goal was to prioritize and localize planning processes, to explore financial modalities, how resources would be provided for doing this, because even though Sustainable Development Goals in theory are a really awesome thing, but implementing those practically could be really difficult for developing countries like Pakistan. I am from federal government, and my department is Pakistan Postal Services, which is like USPS in US. And we work under the umbrella of Universal Postal Union, one of the UN agencies. So I would focus on these three goals, goals 8, 9, and 10, which is decent work and economic growth, industry, innovation, and infrastructure, and reduced inequalities. How these three goals relate to my organization and my work back home, I would explain in detail. So basically, Pakistan started National Sustainable Development Strategy with one goal in mind: viable and equitable economic growth. The goals, the means to that goal include the social inclusion, financial inclusion, digital development in organizations, providing equitable and more employment opportunities and for economic activity for the poor, for the women, for youth of our country. And the actions were these 5, which all of them are included in the National Inclusion Financial Strategy, which is given by the Central Bank of Pakistan, which is State Bank of Pakistan. So Pakistan Post, how it is working for all these means towards that goal. Social inclusion. So Pakistan Post is a labor-intensive organization with more than 30,000 employees. So every year, more employment opportunities are being created for the youth of the country. And for the financial inclusion, Pakistan Post has been working on its reform agenda for, in the digital era and in the era of post-COVID e-commerce. We needed a better, competitive edge because mostly all the processes in Pakistan Post 10 years back based on manual processes, but we have been converting those into digital processes. And then we have been working on banking services, other financial services, which could be digitalized so that they would be available to more people across the country, because Pakistan Post has more than 12,000 locations across Pakistan. So that is a huge distribution network, and that could be utilized for, providing more opportunities in terms of finances, in terms of banking services, in terms of online services. So these are some of the things which are included in financial inclusion. For human development, since we have a huge HR, training and development could improve the human development index as well. Then digital development, for this, for e-commerce, electronic databases, and then APIs and online shopping channels, and these things are a part of digital development, which we have been working on. And finally, digital inclusion and literacy. So since we have a huge distribution channel, there has been a plan of providing internet access on those areas where there rural areas especially, and those areas where internet is not easily accessible. So the central bank's idea for digitization of Pakistan Post is to improve access to financial services to backward areas which are not that economically developed, and for increasing digital literacy and financial independence, especially in women and farmers and people who do not have access to these facilities. Oh, I think you have not given the correct presentation, but I have 2 more points to make, which were mistakenly not included in this. So one, I wanted to give a practical example of how we have done all this. So what Pakistan Post initiated 3 years ago, a plan to provide option for young people or women or even middle-aged people. They could have a franchise of Pakistan Post. So almost more than 3,000 applications were received. And as of last year, when I came here, more than 700 digital financial franchise post offices were created, especially in rural areas. So how Pakistan Post works is it has 12,000 various outlets, but most of them are in rural areas, which are called extra departmental branch offices. But those were manual. They didn't have any system. They didn't have any, computer scanners, barcodes, printers like that. So Pakistan Post invested in that. They had a state-of-the-art infrastructure. They got rebranding, and then they were working for Pakistan Post. Postal services had improved presence across the country, and they got employment opportunities. They got access to internet. The areas we did not have access to those services had access. So this was one of the successful programs of Pakistan Post, which we plan on continuing in the near future. Thank you.
The franchise, how can the government, like the post office, control any of, the actions that might be not,
Well, we have operations and investigations and inspection systems and processes in place. So the basic ownership would remain with Pakistan Post, but they would be working on behalf of us and following all those rules and regulations which are being followed by the post offices owned by Pakistan Post. There would be inspection criteria and regimes also, and the mail or any kind of item which is booked there would go through the Pakistan Post system. So everything would be monitored by Pakistan Post ultimately. The delivery channels are basically Pakistan Post, and the booking channel is their outlet.
Applications that you received for the franchises, was there any prioritization to women and people that might have needed it financially, needed the work financially?
Actually, there were some basic criteria that needed to be fulfilled, that they would be able to, use the system, and they would be digitally aware of how to, talk to the customers, how to input data in the software. But for that, we held trainings. Also, before 3 years, when we started this program, we had a detailed training program. And one of the part of training was these digital franchises. There was no special option for anyone. Anybody could apply. There was no age limit even. But for the youth, it was that they should be more than 18 years of age, because it's a responsibility that they have to run it. But women were, they were given opportunity to apply, and there were many women entrepreneurs who decided to go through that. And the applicants, I was just telling you about more than 700, which are fully functional now. But the process is ongoing, and I'm sure that when I go back, it would be have improved a lot. Thanks.
Right. Doesn't work, or? So basically, oh, is it like a, hold on, pages? Oh yeah, maybe just give me a second. Doesn't look good. This, okay, yeah, this is better. Just give me a second. Right.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me. Before I came here, I'm in USA.
I about to give up on my development work that I keep working for more than a year before MEG, if you heard that about that. And the thing that made me feel such a kind of that no hope feeling is that one that I would like to share with all of you today. So I will go over the background of my country and then talking about SDG situation and share the story of myself that give you an idea of what's problem that happened in the development work that I found. So Thailand is a Southeast Asia country. We about more than double size of Michigan with a population around 71.8 million people there in the aging society. For economy, our country is ranked at the 23rd in the world for the current GDP. Our per capita income is roughly $6,900, but it's still in the middle income country though. And for the top export product, we are good at machine parts, circuit, car, auto and auto part. We are the biggest exporter in rubber, fruit, prepared meat, and cassava. And USA is our best friend in pork, do the commercial thing, following by China and Japan. So if we look at the SDG report, we have a good progress since 2000. And right now we rank at the 43rd from 166 countries. We already achieved 2 goals that you see in the green one. One is the SDG 1, no poverty, and SDG 4, education. But we know it's a lot have to be done for the remaining goals, especially see the arrow that put downward on SDG 15, life on land. And it's that one that I'm working on it right now, and it's that one that's caused me the disappointed feeling. So let's talk about the story. Here the place that my study area, the one that in the border between Thailand and Laos, and that at that one you could see is a highland and remote area. That place is a home for minority group who living in the poor condition. They are also have the conflict issue with the property rights about the public land. No, so they normally doing their agriculture by we call the shifting cultivation. So they move year by year, and then at that time, so it's caused a lot of deforestation because of normally they produce corn, and right now to meet the high demands in corn in my country, so they resort to deforestation more and more, and also they use burning for pre-plant preparation, and it's caused a lot of air pollution, and it's a big issue in my country and the region right now. So we come up with this project. So we initiate the project to cope with that kind of problem. And that one, we aim to find a solution, the appropriate way to reforest, and also people in the community can benefit from the reforestation at the same time, such as we create the business like a tree nursery that they could sell the seedling back to community or other organization who need that. And then is this a 3-year project? For in the first year, we got 9 volunteers that they have a very good heart. They are our villager as well, and they volunteer that to use their land to reforest with our project. So everything going well. We already planted the tea. One day in the second year, so I got a call from one owner, and he told me
Professor, I'm so sorry. I think I'm afraid I have to terminate the project because my family got the financial crisis and we have to sell that land. So I asked him, wait for me give me time for a week. I will come up to find a solution and help you. And then I keep searching how I could use the budget from our project because it's a loss of remaining. We got spare money, but we can make a call to a headquarter, and the answer is no. So we got a plan B. Plan B is my colleague and I will use my own money and help them anyway. So 10 days later, we drove to that place. It's around 5 hours from my office. And then you could guess, it's too late. And then they already closed the deal. We cannot save the sale. So I feel really disappointed from that time. During the way, I'm questioning a lot about my work, why it's important, why it's happened. He's very good person. He doing good for our community. And then from that point, so it reminds me back to another problem that happened in another area, same the group of minority as well, and it's the border between Thailand and Myanmar. At that place, it's the borderline used by the river, but there is no boundary for kinship. They are all related, and they speak the same language, not Thai, not Burmese, but their own language called Karen. So I went there to do the focus group, asking them what the effect from the dam that's built in China that might affect their life because the river is a flooding area. So at the very end of the session, so one of lady that keep quiet for the whole section. So I asking her, could you tell something before we closing? So she finally speak up. She asking me, why do you need my opinion? I don't think our opinion is not important for your project because it doesn't matter. We have no citizen. We not neither Thai or Myanmar. So at that place, I speak less. And I also, that time I learned, totally understand what the meaning of everybody count mean to be. And I realized that place, the fundamental problem is about citizenship and inequality. Nobody talk about environmental. So today I'm sharing, not finished yet. So because so on the way I'm drove back. So I still in the oppressive moment. And I met advocate session. I met the group that people I worked with for like a 20 years. And they just went with me at first. They remember me. And we greeted and we share they share me about the success of their community business. And they said we are about to exporting to China, and we really grateful that we worked together since back then, 20 years ago. That one is like a wake up call for me. It's like a wake me up from my bed in for an hour ago. And I realized, okay, every work might not always lead to the big success, but we still have something good for people, and we could help them living up from their life and getting better anyway. So sometime. So I sharing you the whole story because I would like to give you the effect of the complexity of when we working on sustainable development back there at the front work. And I feel like sometimes you will give up. And you could see that until people basic needs are met, So environmental concern may not be the top priority, even it's still really the most important thing, right? Addressing the climate change is really big, significant challenge. And I do believe no matter how small step we take, we still make some progress, and it will my collective lead to the my meaningful change in one way. So I don't worry, I don't give up yet, and I hope you do so much. Use a lot of time.
It's really, many people about, I work with a small farmer in Egypt and I keep saying the same as you mentioned.
Thank you.
If they're like basic human needs are not met, I cannot ask them for extra. It's bad. Thanks.
Thank you.
It's really perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you. We do that. I'm impressed by them. They told us so much, didn't they? I mean, all we asked was talk about a UN agency or SDG work in your country, and you shared so much, and I know you felt pressured because I'm sure each one of them could have spoken for a long, long time, and it would have been fascinating, but we appreciate all that you did to prepare in your presentations tonight. Any other last questions while we still have a few minutes before a few other pieces of work that we have to do? Work. Any questions? Okay, so let's give them all another round of applause. And our programs chair, Lisa Berg, wave Lisa or stand up. Lisa has been our program chair for a number of years now, and we thank her. She will remain on our board, but we have another program chair coming in, and we'll introduce him later. But Lisa has gifts for each of you after we break for our refreshments. So thank you, Lisa. I would like to introduce the new president of the Greater Lansing UNA Board of Directors. And there you are, Denise Quarles. Denise?
Thank you, Lynn. I just wanted to take a few minutes to say that I really appreciate all the work that you've done to make the presentations today. And they were very informative. And it certainly makes it very encouraging to know how much is going on in various countries around the world in order to achieve the SDG goals. But thank you again for your presentations. We always enjoy interacting with the Humphrey Fellows. We learned something, and hopefully you learned something from us. It's a good shared experience. So thank you.
Thank you. Someone who has been on our board but has a new position is our new membership chair, Robert Lurie. And he has a message for us. Give him a round of applause. He's going to at least triple our membership, right?
I'm gonna join 3 times my seat. Use aliases. No, thank you very much, and thank you again. I've had an opportunity to interact with all the fellows, and I agree with Denise about the optimism that comes. You just realize how many smart people there are in the room, and when we all get together through agencies like the UN, that gives us the opportunity to share those things, and it gives us hope for the future. So I have just one message. I was just wondering if anybody's familiar with the Shaker religious group. Okay, so the Shakers share some things in common with the UNA. Okay, pacifism, also equality. And another thing they share is that they don't procreate, and neither do we. We have to recruit people to join our organization, just like the Shakers do, okay? So our goal the next year is to try to increase the number of people who participate and join the UNA, which gives us our GLUNA chapter, which gives us a bigger UN family, more people to lean on, more people to learn from, gives us a little more fun so we can support even more, quality programming like this, although this is a pretty high standard here. I don't know how much higher we're gonna get. So we do have sign-up sheets over here. You can register on our GLUNA website as well. And we'd welcome everyone. The bigger, the better, the more diverse, the bigger family we have, the more we can accomplish together. Thank you.
I really wondered where he was going with that. However, my children became UNA members. So, not today, but okay. All right. Okay, will other board members of GLUNA please stand? I'd just like you to see them. Raise your hand. Hassan Sardar, Dave Wiley. We all know Dave. Bob Barnhart, Lisa Berg, Hakan Yildiz, Wayne Beck, it's John Metzler, and I spoke of our new program chair, Terrence Blackburn. So thank you all for all that you do, and I've already introduced Denise and Robert. We're quite the team. Oh, wait a minute, David Horner. Come on, stand up. Welcome to our newest board member. Thank you. As you know, UNA is an advocacy organization. We support the work of the United Nations. We offer as a chapter, and by the way, there are something over 200 chapters in the country. We offer advocacy opportunities on a fairly regular basis. We try to send them out to you at the best times. But one, you are able to go to the UNA USA website. There's an advocacy hub that if we don't send you an opportunity to advocate, you can go to our hub on the UNA website and do some advocacy on your own. But another way that we let you know about advocacy is Dave Wiley, our advocacy chair, sometimes we'll have a special email sent to you asking for you to possibly call your member of Congress, et cetera, for a particular reason. And we also have e-newsletters where you might see another opportunity. But one thing that we do that makes our chapter special from what I've heard from other chapter leaders is that we try to give an action opportunity at our programs. So tonight, you are going to be able to message your member of Congress, actually all three, and ask them to support the SDGs for the fiscal year 24, as we have committed, as the US has committed for us to do. So if you will take out your cell phone, please, if you have your cell phones with you. If you don't, maybe you could write this down because it makes a difference. Send our messages to Congress. And please text the letters SDG to the following number, 30644. 30644. Write in SDG, send it, and you will receive a link. And the link will show up, and it is an opportunity for you to send a message about supporting the SDGs. Remember, we support SDGs around the world. We also need to support the development the goals locally and and countrywide, right? It's here too. I did notice when I did this one, you're going to need to write a title for yourself for our two senators. They want to be polite in the response, right? Is that? Okay, thank you for your action, this advocacy action tonight. And yes, we might take a picture of that link, unausa.org/advocacy /. You'll find lots of advocacy opportunities. Thank you. We have some other Humphrey Fellows with us tonight who I would like to introduce so that when we break for decaf coffee, tea and water and cookies, but most importantly, conversation, we would love for you all to meet our fellows and talk one-on-one or in small groups or whatever. So I will introduce the other fellows who are here. And if when I call your name, you would just stand up so that they know who you are. Hamis El Gabri from Egypt. Romina Chung from Guyana. We also call her later. Hei Kyung Jung from South Korea. Jin Loisiga from Nicaragua. And Dilafruz Mamajanova from Tajikistan. And Sinuan, I know that you're joining us hybrid. Hello to you. Sorry we can't visit with you. He sent his apologies. So please feel free to chat with everyone and meet our Humphrey Fellows and enjoy some of the refreshments. And thank you all again for coming. And we have more programs in store for you. In fact, there was even some talk that we might have a program in the future about SDG work locally. So that could be pretty interesting, right? It's very important. Okay, one more big round of applause for our presenters and our
All right, thank you, Lynn. Awesome.
Bye. They won't stay.
What's that?
They won't stay long.
Oh, so we only have 15, until what time?
8:30.
Oh, I think that's.
Sorry, I forgot about that one. Then
Oh, that's okay. Don't worry about it. Yeah, I'm already here. So.
yeah, I didn't like phones.
Oh yes, of course. Yeah. This one, yes. Yeah. Good. Of course. Oh, you wanted to? Oh, sorry. I thought you were done. Sorry. I'll open it. It's coming up. Okay. I'll just leave it. Yeah. Sure. I will leave it like.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay.
Girls have one. Finish your name.
Yeah. Okay. What is that? Of course.